Shehzad Poonawalla, Tehseen Poonawalla, both joining us. I just want to come across to you, Shehzad, first. You know, this is going to be a very stormy session, and actually the main point that everybody is waiting for would be, of course, the Mahua Payoff scam. And we have seen how in politics over it, we saw how, in fact, different opposition leaders, and I'll come to you, Tehseen, on that, how there was an entire division within the Congress and the other parties itself on Mahua. What do you really think is going to play out? This is going to be a very stormy session on that.
Look, the Prime Minister has already advised the opposition, given them a good tip that they should not allow the negativity, especially losing 3 elections yesterday. Their negativity is at a peak level, but they shouldn't allow the negativity to take the better of them. And Parliament should be a forum for discussion, not disruption, for consensus, not confrontation, for Rashtra Hit, not Parivar Hit. And therefore, I hope the Parliament will be allowed to function. But, you know, as usual, the opposition, right from 2019, they've not allowed a single session to go through. They spoke about Mehengai, they went and disrupted on Rafale. When the Rafale report came, they disrupted on Pegasus. When the Pegasus report came, they disrupted on BBC documentary. They are disrupting because Parliament, the national emblem, the lion is growling more. So, you know, they find any and every opportunity to stall Parliament, to take it hostage. I think that should be avoided. As far as Mahua Moitra is concerned, look, it's a fait accompli. Whatever the Ethics Committee report is, it has to be tabled in Parliament. Ultimately, Parliament will decide, the Speaker will decide. Whatever decision awaits her, will await her.
Right. And Tehseen, coming to you right now, you know, when the Mahua Moitra payoff scam was making the headlines, and then all this details came out that from 3 countries her login was accessed. We saw within the TMC was very quiet, is quiet for the longest time. Then we saw within the Congress a kind of a division within the Congress as well, state leadership and also in the central leadership over her. What do you really feel about how things will move forward? Because today that ethics panel report will be tabled, and it's going to be something which everybody will watch out for.
On the Mahua Moitra issue, I am astounded. I still haven't understood what is the criminality. I think Mahua Moitra was stupid to share her login ID. I think it's ridiculous. Playing with a knife is ridiculous, but unless I don't hurt you, it's not criminality. Where is the criminality? The allegations by her ex-boyfriend that she was taking money. Look, if he was in a relationship and he knew that she was taking money, it was his duty at that point to make a complaint. You can't come up a few months later and say, oh, she was taking money then, and suddenly now I've woken up and smelled the coffee. And the person who's alleged to have given the money, Mr. Nationalist Hiranandani, why wasn't he called to the committee? Why wasn't he allowed to be cross-examined? His affidavit doesn't talk about cash. His affidavit talks about lipstick. How is this? None of this makes sense. Yes, Mahua did something that was immature. Immaturity does not mean anti-national activities. I think she needs to be punished, fine, but that cannot be in the realm of a CBI inquiry and anti-national act. I think this Parliament needs to be also take cognizance of that fact. Where is the criminality in this?
But you know, he's trying to mislead. The Ethics Committee panel report doesn't deal with criminality. It deals with whether your conduct falls within the realms of ethics and parliamentary propriety, which it doesn't, which even he's accepting. So that part is different. The criminal aspect of it is different. The CBI, etc., has not filed any case. It's filed a preliminary inquiry. It will inquire into it. And as far as somebody making a complaint, there is no bar of limitation on a criminal complaint.
Right. I mean, the kind of reactions that we saw, and the way that story took a turn of Mahua Moitra. Of course, many questions are raised because it's all about a parliamentarian is held in high regard and should follow a model code of conduct. But I just want to ask you once more, before you reply to what Shehzad said, that why was in the Congress itself, why were there different opinions within the Congress about Mahua Moitra? Like, is there a division on Mahua Moitra? Is opposition together on certain views of points? Or because we have seen in the past that in various issues we have seen a bit of division within the opposition. Like, what would you feel is really the problem here?
I don't think it's just in a political party like Congress. I'm not a member of it. I'm a political analyst. But I think in the opposition, I think a lot of people, and I'm being very frank, were uncomfortable with the way she puts her point of view across. She is at times, I think, a little aggressive, and I think that makes people. She doesn't come across very polite and logical in what she's saying, and I think that makes the opposition very uncomfortable. It's a perception issue. But let me come back to her defense in this particular case. If the Ethics Committee was deciding on ethics, wasn't it ethical enough to call the man who made the allegation, wrote the affidavit, Hiranandani, to depose? Isn't the right to a cross-examination and the right to a defense a fundamental right? Ultimately, all these parliamentary committees are tribunal as held by the Supreme Court. Her complete rights were violated. Number 2, I'm still saying, when you're in a relationship with somebody and you know somebody is doing something illegal, as an officer of the court, if higher standards should be held up for Mahua Moitra, why isn't it held up for Mr. Dog Lover, her ex-boyfriend? Why was he not complaining when she was taking all this gratification, illegal gratification? Where is the question of that 2 crore rupees? One last point. The allegation is she used Mr. Hiranandani's money to renovate her house, but the house was done by a government contractor. Why hasn't he been summoned?
Right.
So these questions aren't being asked.
Do you want to answer that, Shehzad? Before we move to the election results, that would all be something I would be asking
The
about.
principal issue is that if Mahua's style of speaking is aggravating, then many people feel that about Rahul Gandhi too. The way he has used the word panoti, the way he has said things about OBC Samaj, he got convicted for it. So if that is the point of view, no wonder Rahul Gandhi gets a lot of flack from Akhilesh Yadav, who calls their leaders Chirkut, Chutvaiya and says this is Chalu Party. Anyways, that's within their alliance. But having said that, the issue of Mahua Moitra is that she allowed access to a very sensitive parliamentary login from foreign soil, and we can't be really sure that whether there are elements who are antithetical to the idea of India who've used it, and therefore this constitutes not just a breach of parliamentary privilege but a larger breach of national security, and therefore that can't be slid under the carpet by citing all this. There's a procedure in the ethics committee. You can't be sitting here and saying that I'll question the procedure of the ethics committee. The ethics committee, for its wisdom, has taken a decision. It has given a report. Now if you have a problem with the report, you challenge it at the right forum. But if this report gets adopted, then the fait accompli will follow. Today the question is that is the actions of Mahua Moitra correct in any legitimate form that you have allowed the access from foreign soil? Had this been a BJP MP who would have given the access to a vested interest abroad, what would the opposition have said?